Gregory is such an amazing pianist, so we say a quiet thank you to Gregory for setting the tone for us for our Advent service this afternoon. Let's also set the tone by lighting our candle as we do, and those of you that join us regularly know this is something that we do at the start of our services. So if you have a candle there and you'd like to light it, I invite you to do so now, and take a moment just to hold the light up, the outer symbol of the inner light that we are. And even more applicable this time of year as we talk about the Christ light within us. And know that as we light the candle, it also sets the tone and the focus for our service this afternoon. So I invite you to put the candle down somewhere safe where it's not going to do any damage. And take a moment just to get quiet and still as we move into our opening prayer together. We take a moment to acknowledge this sacred time, this coming together consciously in the presence and power, the energy of God as our source, our awareness, our inner and outer light.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile near, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to you, O Israel.
Okay, so that is a wonderful opening carol to set that theme of the birth of Emmanuel, the birth of Jesus, the Christ within, that energy that we are turning to again and again in unity, our theme as well for the Advent service this afternoon. So what is Advent? Well, it's preparation for Christmas. And by preparation for Christmas, I'm not talking about getting everything organized so our shopping goes smoothly and easily, that we get all the food and drink in so we can eat and drink loads of stuff to keep us filled up physically, or even to get invited to lots of parties and go to shows, even if we still can with the lockdown as it is now. Those things are important. We do need a sense of spiritual and community within our environment, with those socially around us. For our own mental health, it's so important, and that we have fun in our lives. So these aspects of Christmas are important. But in Unity, we also take it more deeply, of course. We're taking it more deeply because we reflect on the story of the birth of Jesus and what that story means to us. So we begin by looking at the faith of Mary and Joseph and all that they went through in this beginning part of the story of Jesus's birth. We think of the peace of the stable, the love of the parents and the shepherds and all who came to worship. And we think of the joy of the angels. And all these qualities are not just from a story 2,000 years ago to read and remember. These qualities are in us. And as we learn to develop our own experience of faith, deepen into peace and love and joy. The story of Jesus' birth, the Christ, becomes alive in us and is born in us. And that everything we do through this Advent season is all about developing our conscious awareness of the Christ within. So this is what Advent is about for us in Unity, really taking time every day to connect. Just as Daily Word said today, keep our focus, our faith on God. Keep our focus on the Christ light that the candles represent in us, through us, and as us. We set that intention to make this time a sacred time, a meaningful time as we build up to Christmas. So I'm going to light our Advent candle here in the room. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but we will light the candle. And so the candle represents our first theme, which is faith. The first thing in Unity we always turn to, faith. Our faith in our awareness of God within us and around us and the Christ light within.
The following Bible reading is from Luke 1, verses 26 to 38. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary, and he came to her and said, "Greetings, favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was much perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus."
This Advent reading is titled The Voice of Faith by Reverend Joy Weiler. Faith gives me confidence in times of uncertainty. Young, pregnant, and unmarried, Mary faced great uncertainty. Yet the angel Gabriel came to her immediately and reassured her, "Do not be afraid." When we face an unexpected change, a critical choice, or daunting uncertainty, we too can hear that same reassurance, "Do not be afraid." The voice of Gabriel mirrors the voice within us. We must simply become still enough to hear it. We all have special assignments from the Spirit. Mary certainly had her assignment. She was young, but her faith was sure. It allowed her to move forward with confidence. When I face uncertainty, I wonder if I have the resources I need to get through it. Then I pause and reaffirm my faith in the unfailing love and guidance of Spirit.
Thank you, Akia. That leads us nicely into a short meditation on living faith. Jesus himself said, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and I will give to you the keys to the kingdom of heaven." And as Akia said, like Mary, on that long, challenging journey to Bethlehem, we hold to our faith when the way is difficult and unclear. We release all worry, doubt, and fear, and listen to the still small voice within. We open our heart to divine guidance. And as we quiet our thoughts, the answers we seek are revealed. Our needs are met, and we know deep within that all is indeed well. Thank you, God. I invite you now to place your hands over your heart. Close your eyes, relax, and breathe deeply and calmly. And for a minute or so, just contemplate what faith means to you.
Of the Father's love begotten, ere the worlds began to be, He is Alpha and Omega, He the source, the ending, He of the things that are, that have been, and that future years shall see, evermore and evermore. Oh, that birth forever blessed, when the Virgin full of grace, by the Holy Ghost conceiving, bore the Savior of our race, and the babe the world's Redeemer, first revealed His sacred face, evermore and evermore.
Thank you to our readers that took us through the first set of readings. We move now into the second set, focusing on peace. So thank you to Sandra and Mark.
The light of peace. I am not deceived by appearance. I remain steadfast in the ever-present light of peace, knowing that all I encounter is divine, and that is by Reverend Elizabeth Lange. Until I discovered Unity teachings and learned that my very essence is divine, I felt unloved and unworthy. I was always struggling with some issue, and if there wasn't any drama, I created some. This is what felt familiar. Then one year at Christmas, my husband told me he was not happy in our marriage and wanted a divorce. During that same time, my grandmother passed away. My unhealed childhood issues came up and I felt very vulnerable. Feelings of loss and abandonment consumed me. I got on my knees and prayed until I felt at peace. In that moment, I knew I had to make a radical shift in my thinking and my life. Instead of living in lack, I chose to live from my greatness. I set the intention to dive deeply into the profound teachings of Unity and to live from my truth, to shine my light regardless of circumstances. That shift has taken me on a journey into ever-expanding goodness of God. My faith is strong and I rely on the light of peace at all times. When I take time to be still, to breathe, and to center myself in the light of truth, I discover peace, understanding, love, joy, and infinite ways to meet any challenge. I see clearly beyond appearances. The more I practice not identifying with my thoughts and breathing from the center of my heart, the easier it becomes to live my life centered in truth.
Let's take these words into our hearts and move into a meditation on peace together. I am centered and poised in the Christ mind. I act from a place of self-love and love for others. In prayer, I send thoughts of loving kindness to myself, my family, my community, and our world. Loving kindness flows from my spiritual consciousness. It serves as a catalyst for peace, harmony, and compassion around the globe. I tap into my oneness with all people and receive the gift of peace. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. John 14:27.
So we take our faith that deepens us into an experience of peace and the joy and the love of those angels as we move into our last section of readings and meditation focused on love. So thank you, Mary and Steph.
Love by the Reverend Ken Daigle. I give and receive love from the infinite supply. It is often said that God is love. Divine love is love that cannot be diminished, depleted, or compromised in any way. It is love that is all-encompassing, love that knows no opposite. Yet that is not always our understanding or experience of love. All we have to do is to pick up a popular book to read all about broken hearts, or catch a reality TV show to witness betrayal and the fickleness of personal love. We may also still feel the pain of a failed love relationship, or experience the heartache of having lost a loved one. The spiritual practice of Advent calls us all higher in consciousness. It illuminates and ignites our own Christ nature, the part of us that knows that we are experiencing, well, sometimes painful, never define us unless we let it. We are called to love everything and everyone. It is easy to love babies and to shower them with hugs, care, and comfort. But what about the criminal, the drug addict, the panhandler, the politician we don't like, the relative who hurts us? Do we and can we shower them with love too? The second principle of unity reminds us we are expressions of the divine, made in the image and likeness of God. That applies not just to some of us, but to all of us. No exceptions.
Thank you so much, Mary, for this wonderful reading. I would like to now to invite you in a beautiful meditation on love. So as I quiet my mind, I access the wisdom of my heart. Being centered in the heart comes from deep listening. No matter what the question, I go into the stillness and ask my heart for guidance. What does my heart tell me to do, say, or be? When I quiet my mind, I allow the Christ within to lead my words and my actions. In the stillness, the wisdom of the heart guides me with clarity and generosity of spirit. I discover new ways of being, love in action. And from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1, if I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. So now I invite you to close your eyes, focus on your breath, and center yourself into your heart. So we can all discover new ways to be love in action in our lives and the lives of others.
So thank you so much to all our readers and have taken such a big part in getting us to this point of the service now, this point where we are just to acknowledge that all the time we speak about Jesus, we talk about the Christ energy within us all, that he came to show us that the light is within us, that we are here to do the work that Jesus did, and maybe even more than he did. So we take our faith, we use it to find and tap into the peace within us and share the love that we are in this world. Let us also embrace our world family in prayer throughout this Advent and Christmas season. To know that whatever is happening in our physical world, in our human experience, underlying every moment, within every being, resides the energy of God and all that we need to guide us through, to fill our souls, to uplift our very being, and to welcome in the Christ light strongly, clearly, powerfully, in us individually, in all the names that have been shared, and indeed with our world. So we're just going to switch the lights on the Christmas tree. I feel like I should go, ta-da! There we are. So we will be adding to the tree as we go. We will be putting all the names on that you've shared with us via chat and via email. Thank you for doing that. And it will add more glitter, and eventually there'll be even more in this room. So when we come to the candle lighting service, we will really be embracing all of that joy as well. So as we draw this time to a close, let's give thanks. Give thanks for this service this afternoon, for every single one that has taken part. Thank you to all the readers. that have read so beautifully, that have taken part, and to all of you that have joined us. It really is, for me personally, when Christmas and the spiritual preparation begins today. And so may your Advent season, your Christmas season, be filled with faith and peace and love and joy and gratitude for everything that comes to us to experience, to know God in our midst, the Christ within. And so the Lord does abide with us. The Christ resides within us. This is the knowledge, the experience that we are deepening into, every single one of us, as we prepare for Christmas and the rebirth of the Christ within us all. So for our prayer for protection, as the closing prayer this afternoon, we include the I am statements, for the I am is God at work in us and through us and as us. So let us affirm this in truth, in faith, in love and peace together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let